Good evening, everybody. An exploration of climate change implications by Dr. Lareef Zubair. Dr. Lareef currently works at the International Research Institute for Climate and Society with Jeffrey Sachs, Rajendra Pachauri, and other well-known scientists on the issue of generating a sustainable civilization. He is a key player in linking Sri Lanka with the global program funded by the McArthur Foundation, mandated to generate a global network of Masters of Developmental Practice, tasked with the guiding of human species into a sustainable civilization, a new way to live for us all, a new way for each one of us, and a new world for all of us. Dr. Lareef received his Bachelor's Degree in Chemical and Mechanical Engineering from the University of Peradeniya in Sri Lanka in 1987. He received his Master's Degree from Yale in 1990 and his Ph.D. also from Yale for his thesis on studies in turbulence using wavelet analysis for data compression and scale separation in 1993. He returned to Sri Lanka and set up the Foundation for Environment, Climate and Technology, which is a center for climate and environmental technology for the region. The Foundation provides background information on climate trends, climate variability, and climate-related news in Sri Lanka and the South Asia region. It is updated to monitor current climate conditions and predictions, describes climate risk, participates in management projects in water resources, agriculture, environment, disaster and public health, and is linked to our mobilization projects such as the Sri Lanka meteorology, oceanography, and hydrology network. The campaign to save the Colombo Observatory land and the campaign for review of the Setu Samudra project. It is also linked to tsunami website and associated relief, recovery and reconstruction websites. To this day, the Foundation works closely with the Mahavali Authority, Met Department, the Agricultural Ministry, and several other ministries to regulate water flow to agricultural production and power generation in Sri Lanka. As proprietor of Pushpasplace, I am pleased to have Dr. Lareef Zubair as my guest today. I now call upon Nirmalan to frame and conduct the evening proceedings in order to facilitate your participation. Thank you.
Good evening. Now, having very carefully, and I'm afraid not too gently, lured Dr. Lareef away from his accustomed areas of comfort, his supportive nexus of relationship, and the firm ground on which he is used to standing, and walked him into the shifting sands of Pushpasplace, I think it is only fair that I tell him something about the context into which I have brought him this evening. As he walked in today, he asked me, "What is this place?" And I told him, "I live here." I think it came as a bit of a surprise. So Pushpasplace is a rather unusual place. It is a place where people come together to talk, to spend time reading, writing, meditating, and various activities aimed at their self-development and their growth. And the kind of people who come here, that is what really is interesting. These are people who have sort of moved to the frontiers of their various disciplines and who have found the courage to step beyond. So today we have with us, for instance, start from the younger ones. There's Vijay. He's a musician. He plays the bass guitar and he spends most of his time in a very new discipline which I would call internet exploring. He's sharpening his skills, and I believe that in time he will learn to use some of the data mining softwares which are very important to that aspect of work. And he has a talent in getting together information that is not freely available. And he's beginning to package this information in DVD format and other formats where people can actually buy large chunks of data which would otherwise take them time to search for themselves and find on the internet. Then we have Arjun over there. He's also a musician. He plays lead guitar and he is also a vocalist. And he is at the moment managing the Naveen Ashram in India, which has been set up by the two of them. There is a music lab out there, and he's beginning to research musicology, and the two of them together have come up with some compositions which I am told, I'm no expert in the field, but I am told by people who are indeed experts in the music field that it is a little unusual. Unusual both in style and composition and in the way that they have arrived at their creations. Next to Arjun we have Kingsley Pereira, one of the most unique people Sri Lanka has ever produced. It is difficult to put a label on him, but he is somebody who knows every nook and cranny of this country. He is familiar with every myth and legend of the land, and he knows almost every family in every area. You walk into any place of Sri Lanka and you say, okay, I know so and so, so and so. And he is in a sense a kind of anthropologist. I think that is the correct word to use. He is internationally recognized. He has studied in various universities of which I am not familiar, but I know they are regular mainstream universities. And he is carefully monitored by the anthropological community in the world. They are in touch with him, and I think even in February one of his professors will be visiting here as well. So that is Kingsley. He is a unique specimen. You have to interact with him in order to understand what he is all about. So then we have here Pushpalata, who is the author of this Pushpasplace. It is largely her idea that this place should be like this. And at the moment she is working on conceptualizing and coming up with an alternate system of education. She happens to be on the board, CMS board, which is in charge of the girls' schools, including Mowbray, Hillwood, and Ladies' College, Bishop's College, and I'm not sure if it is not Bishop's, is it?
It's St. John's.
Oh, St. John's Jackson, right.
Girls.
Chondukuli Girls' School, yes, they have quite a few schools. So she's interested in education, and she's working for the Foundation for Civilizational Transformation and Conscious Evolution. Her task is to try to conceptualize and come up with an education system which is alternative in terms of its structure and process, but most importantly, which is at least less reliant on fossil fuels and the movement of people that education today involves, and of course the cost as well. So she's into education, but she's also into herbology, I would say. She's interested in herbs and their medical application, and she does come up with some pretty remarkable solutions to various medical problems sometimes. She's been talking to the Velur Medical Hospital where some of her relatives work, and they have been telling her to please put all this stuff down in writing because we are also doing some research in this field and we'd like to have your knowledge in that body of knowledge that they're collecting. But Pushpa being Pushpa, it's very difficult to get her to sit down and write anything, you know. She'll talk, but getting her to write is very difficult. Then we have here Dr. Ruchira Kitsiri. He's a medical doctor, and he's not your regular doctor. He's very much towards the research side of medicine, and he's working for a senior cardiologist in Colombo as his research assistant. And the interesting thing about Ruchira is he brings a very new perspective to medicine. He looks at the human body and its physiology in terms of energy. And he has come out with some very interesting explanations, and at the moment he's looking for access to an fMRI scanner because he wants to test out some of the hypotheses that he's come up with. So that is Dr. Ruchira, and he puts his life on the line. He is not somebody who experiments on other people. Whatever has to be done, he'll do it himself. He will walk into the jungle in the middle of the night if necessary. So he's a very interesting kind of person, and I think he has got a very bright future. So that's about us, and that's about Pushpasplace. And now I would like to tell all of you who are here how we are going to do this thing. Now, Dr. Lareef, although we have given a title to this thing, you do not by any means have to confine yourself to that parameter. You're free to explore. And all of you who are listening also understand that you're free to take this in the direction that you want it to go. Get as much as possible out of Dr. Lareef, and then you can ask questions. And once you finish the formal question and answer kind of thing, we'll break up, have a few drinks, and chat, as we usually do here. So, Dr. Lareef, please come up and take the stage.